One of the toughest challenges faced by game designers is how to keep players on the right path and stop them wandering off into places they're not supposed to be, like the room with the final boss, or outdoors, into the fresh air. Often developers will come up with a clever way of disguising the fact that they're trying to keep your exploring in check. Sometimes though, it's 5 PM on a Friday, and they chuck any old nonsense in your way, regardless of how effective it would be at actually stopping you in your tracks. Here are 7 of those times. Enjoy, and beware spoilers ahead for the following games.
There is a lot of stuff about the Pokemon universe that doesn't make sense. Like, for example, why a parent would allow their 11-year-old child to leave home to become a professional animal fighter. Another thing that doesn't make sense is the various ways in which the game blocks your path. One particularly egregious example can be found in the games Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon Pearl. Early-ish in the game, you're trying to get to Celestic Town from Route 210, only to discover that this extremely narrow path is blocked. And it's blocked not by a broken bridge, or a fallen tree, or an impassable wall, but by 4 Psyducks, who have all got headaches. If you aren't familiar with Psyduck, a Psyduck is a psychic-type duck Pokemon whose default state is having a headache, so a Psyduck with a headache is far from headline news. Psyducks are also roughly 2 feet tall and weigh approximately 40 pounds, so if you really wanted to bypass this obstacle, you could probably just pick one up and shuffle it a few feet to the right in order to make a path for yourself. Or, and I know this is a radical idea in a game about making Pokemon fight each other, but how about making your crack squad of killer Pokemon fight these Psyducks like you've been doing to every other single wild Pokemon you encountered on your walk over here? But no, apparently that's not how we're doing things, so off you trot to beat 2 more Pokemon gyms instead. Then Cynthia will show up with a special potion which, when administered to the Psyducks, will cure their headaches and cause them to wander off, presumably to go stand in front of the ambulance bay at a hospital emergency room or something. Psyducks. Psydicks, more like. Am I right? What? Not that bad. Could have said Psy.
Fans of the Call of Duty series will fondly remember Modern Warfare's final bonus mission, Mile High Club, unless they ever try to complete it on veteran difficulty. Didn't want to be in your club anyway. In this level, you play as an unnamed elite task force operative who has to fight their way through a plane full of ultra-nationalist terrorists in order to rescue a VIP whose name you never actually learn. I mean, he has a bag on his head. Maybe it's Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th Part 2. Anyway, Jason is located in a room on the upper floor of this double-decker airplane, roughly above the point at which you start the level. Considering that you start the level by cutting through the ceiling of the room you start in and dropping down, it does call into question how elite this task force is, but it's probably just advanced military tactics that we don't understand. That aside, there's actually a staircase leading directly to the room you're trying to get to right at the start of the level. This staircase would allow you to bypass a plane full of bad men with guns. Unfortunately, it's completely impassable thanks to a couple of flight cases. For a start, if they're too heavy for you to move, then they shouldn't be allowed as cabin baggage, so what they're doing here is anyone's guess. But I'm going to go ahead and say that highly capable special operatives at the peak of physical condition could manage the level of agility required to climb over a couple of narrow boxes. Or not. No, it's fine. Don't worry. I mean, how hard can this level be on veteran difficulty anyway? Oh, right.
Lord Zeus.
Kratos, you grow stronger as your journey continues. But if you are to succeed in your quest, you will need my aid. I offer you the power of the greatest of all the gods, the father of Olympus. I offer you the power of Zeus.
Here's a handy cut out and keep list of all the things that have failed to stop Kratos from the God of War series. A building-sized Hydra. Actual wonder of the ancient world, the Colossus of Rhodes. And Kronos, who looks like Thanos' older, bigger brother. A lot bigger. So you think it'd be pretty difficult to stop the ghost of Sparta in his tracks, and that if you've somehow done something to piss him off, it's probably best to use your remaining hours on the planet to get your affairs in order. I hereby leave all my worldly possessions to Marie Kondo. She's the only one who can sort that mess out. It turns out though that all it takes to stop Kratos is that most basic of medieval siege defences, a drawbridge. In the very first God of War game on the rooftops of Athens, you'll meet this fellow, who is affectionately known as Bridge Coward.
Release the lever! Extend the bridge!
No! I won't let them get me. They won't get across. These monsters, they'll tear me apart.
Coward.
Though given that the monsters are very real, that feels less like cowardice and more like, I don't know, common sense? Holding the lever prevents the bridge from extending, and somehow this small gap is enough to halt the advance of even double-jumping demigod Kratos. At this point, chances are Kratos will need to backtrack to unlock a power called Zeus's Fury, which allows him to return and promptly atomize the guy holding the lever with a precision lightning bolt. Pretty unfair of Kratos to summon the awesome power of the gods to kill a mere mortal. Who's the real bridge coward here? It's especially mean, given that Kratos clearly takes inspiration from the guy when it comes to beating the formidable Kraken boss in the next game, God of War 2. Bridge genius, how about?
I know we already talked about Pokemon, but I really can't stress enough how little respect the Pokemon games have for you when it comes to placing artificial obstacles in your path. Pokemon Black and White 2 might be the worst offender of the bunch. Of the game's 5 bridges, 3 are inaccessible until the end of the game for the following reasons. The first is due to maintenance work, the second is being inspected for the first time in 2 years, and the third is currently the subject of a social experiment in which they see how many people they can fit on a bridge. No, take your time, this is important data. However, those dubious obstacles pale in comparison to the roadblock that greets you if you try to go to White Forest or Black City via Route 14 too early. Enter the covered bridge that you need to cross and you'll be greeted by these 7 guys who, according to their dialogue, are dancing for no reason. They're not even dancing, they're just occasionally turning from side to side. Look, I get it, Pokemon developer Game Freak, it's hard to keep coming up with reasons why people can't go places, but when you're blocking the path with a bunch of dancers who aren't dancing and who straight up tell you to your face that they're there for no reason, it might be time to take a step back and ask yourself when it was that you started hating Pokemon players. Oh, you saw some of the fan art, didn't you? Okay, fair enough.
Oh yeah! This is happening!
Sonic Adventure came out in 1998 for the Sega Dreamcast, and in addition to the expected running and jumping, it added weird things to Sonic's repertoire, like virtual pet rearing. Saving the world can wait! That thing is adorable! And with the inclusion of the Station Square level, Sonic Adventure did the whole weirdly proportioned cartoon character running around an otherwise realistic city thing long before Mario Odyssey's new Donk City made it cool. Is the 90s console war still going on? If so, that's gotta be 1 point to Sega. But with more realistic environments come more mundane problems. Problems like public transport delays. After their plane is shot down, Sonic needs to get back to Mystic Ruins to meet up with Tails, but at precisely the least convenient time for this to happen, the train service that previously ran to Mystic Ruins is no longer running.
No trains are currently in service.
It turns out the railway employees of Station Square have unionised and are striking for better pay and conditions, which, given that they're working late with no overtime pay, is probably fair enough. Just don't let Tails hear about this. I'm pretty sure Sonic doesn't pay him anything at all. It does raise the question, though, if Sonic's whole deal is that he can run really fast, why is he relying on public transport at all? We've seen him sprint across continents at supersonic speeds, and yet in Sonic Adventure, he's going to spend, what, an hour or so sitting on the severely delayed 9:32 service to Mystic Ruins? That's like Usain Bolt riding around on a kid's tricycle. I've just had a brilliant idea for a new Olympic event.
Cult classic RPG Mother 3 has a wonderfully rich and strange world for you to explore. Why, in just the first 10 minutes of the game you'll encounter people headbutting dinosaurs unconscious, encounter farm animals with dark secrets, and find out from your grandpa that talking to frogs is a great way to save. Related, I'm starting to worry about grandpa. Regardless of appearances, however, the game isn't as keen as you on exploring, and most of the time has a very clear idea of where it wants you to go. Usually there'll be a good reason for you being unable to access certain areas, such as not having the right equipment or needing another character to make a path for you, but try and head south from your house towards the forest at the start of the game, and you'll be denied for a somewhat less satisfactory reason. What, like giant ants? I don't see any giant ants, so I'm assuming this is just regular tiny ants we're talking about, which I'm pretty confident I could either walk around or just walk straight over and deal with the moral consequences later. To be fair, it's established early on that people in the world of Mother 3 want to avoid harming insects, as we see when the character Hinawa mentions accidentally stepping on a mole cricket, hoping it's okay. What happens when that mole cricket turns up later, however, tells a different story. Make up your mind, Mother 3. Am I supposed to love all insects or beat the hell out of them? Grandpa, help me out here. Okay, we need to have a talk about Grandpa.
This is an emergency. Level 1 alert.
Omega 1 restarting. Alpha 1 genome restructuring. Confirming exon replacement. Base code 85 million. 100 million. Its speed is overwhelming.
1998 PlayStation JRPG Xenogears is a bit more ambitious than your average game. In addition to the usual turn-based battling, inventory management and exploration, Xenogears goes for a more intellectually challenging tone, containing themes of Jungian psychology, Freudian thought, and religious symbolism. Given that most games we play contain themes of running, shooting, and grenade spamming, this is some pretty highbrow stuff. So if your path is going to be blocked by anything in Xenogears, you'd expect it to be the painful repressed memory of some deep-seated past trauma or a crippling fear of parental disapproval. You know, rather than a child's stuffed toy, which you could easily punt across the room. For some reason, even though you need to get through that door, fearsome sand pirate Bart refuses to boot this thing into the sky like he's taking a field goal and instead goes to find the toy's owner, Margie. It's there that it's revealed that the stuffed animal is actually a living creature, going by the name Choo Choo. So probably a good job we didn't go for Plan A, hoof it into space. Choo Choo even joins your party, which is the point where you discover that she can grow to the size of a combat mech and has a 10% chance of dishing out a critical hit for an extra 50% damage. Two things that absolutely weren't clear when she was sitting there adorably blocking that doorway. Okay, yeah, real glad I didn't with Choo Choo.
Thanks for watching this video about the times that games put stupid obstacles in your path to stop you progressing. There are no obstacles, however, to you going and watching more videos from us and Outside Extra, so that's good. Up here's one from us, which is about FMV games that would never get made today because, for a start, FMV games, the very concept is ludicrous, but also for other reasons. They had Hulk Hogan in, for example, or they were about soup monsters. So that's good, check that out. And down here is a video from Outside Extra about games from the past that we can't stop thinking about. My pick for that is Bioforge. What's Bioforge? We'll have to watch and find out.